What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This your boy Reckless Talk with the Reckless Talk Podcast, Reckless Talk Sports Podcast, Reckless Talk Management and Promotions, A1 Music Empire, 1836 Entertainment, HoustonCityBeat.com. We are the storytellers of Houston. Everybody, welcome back. We are live on YouTube, YouTube Music, and Facebook. So if you're rocking with us on YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're rocking with us on Facebook, hit the love button, comment, share. And if you're rocking with us on YouTube Music, man, we truly appreciate you guys. Our podcast goes where you go. In saying that, big shouts to all our sponsors. Otto's Root Beer, the greatest root beer on earth, brewed in Huntsville, Texas by Brew Nation. Always support local, old school family recipe from the 1950s. Also, J-Rag Distribution and LLC. And Smash Wagon, greatest burgers on earth. Congratulations, Smash Wagon. Yo, we need to make a little Smash Wagon out of Beaumont, Texas. Congratulations to them opening up their very first restaurant. Y'all definitely go check them out, and they go amazing with some Otto's Root Beer. And then, of course, we have Hoodlum Nature Records, man. We truly appreciate you guys. What's going on, everybody? We are back. What's up, guys?
Nothing much.
Yeah, man, we got a special guest today. He's not in the building yet. Before we say that, what's up to my Pop? What's going on, Pop? There we go, right there. My guy Matthew's in the house. What's going on?
Got Matt in the building. What's
up, man?
What's up, brother?
What's up, man?
How are you?
Man, dude, what's up, bro? I get chills. We got the legend in the building, man.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I can only do what I can do, right?
Let's go.
Yo, welcome to the show, man. Go ahead and tell everybody about yourself. Man, this dude is an amazing dude. He's got a podcast. Go ahead, bro. Tell everybody who you are and everything, right?
So, I grew up right here in the great city of Houston, right? The Go Texans, Go Texans.
Yeah.
I grew up in a time, I was born in the 80s, very much a kid in the 90s. So I grew up in the time of the Warren Moon era of the Houston Oilers. And used to go to the Astrodome, used to watch games all the time. But played football, ran track, went to Memorial High School in Houston, if you guys are familiar with that, over in West Houston. Played football for them, ran track, went to Texas Tech University. Got my Bachelor of Arts degree there. Then I went out to Austin for about 14 years, coached out there, worked on some TV shows, worked on Walker, the reboot of Walker, Texas Ranger. Did 3 episodes of season 1. By the way, in season 1, I play a bad guy. Episode 16, Bad Apples. So if you guys want to check that out. After that, I continued coaching, did all that fun stuff, and then I worked on season 2 of Walker. I played a completely different character. I played his buddy, his friend, pretty much in that one. And then worked on 1 episode of season 3. I've written and directed a few short films. The Last Catch, we won a bunch of accolades for that. It was sold for distribution and played over many continents, Europe, Middle East, Africa. Won the Silver Remy Award for that for World Fest Houston. And so just I've been honored by the governor's office, the governor of Texas office, Governor Abbott's office. So, admiral in the Texas Navy, honorary admiral in the Texas Navy, and for my contributions in Texas. And by the way, I like that Aggie jersey up there. I see that.
Thank you.
Go Aggies, right? My nephew actually committed to A&M for baseball.
Oh, no.
And then Coach Schloss committed him, and then when he went to Texas, I'm sorry to say, man, he flipped to Texas. So sorry about that, but I do enjoy A&M. Go Connor Wigman, and the reason I came back to Houston is that my dad had heart surgery, so I came back, decided to help the family out, whatnot, and that's about it.
Man, that's dope, bro. Congratulations to you, bro. All everything you got going. You also cover high school football, also announce games and stuff. So that's dope. That's something I meant to talk to you about. Me and Jimmie, we cover media for the Houston Energy. Football team, and we also announce the home games. So, man, we definitely would love to collab with you when the season starts next year.
Hey Jay, we're gonna make that work. We're gonna make that work.
Something. But yeah, that definitely would be dope to have you with us for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it'd be great.
Saying that, let's touch on this real quick. Tua. Everyone knows Tua suffered another concussion on Thursday. And the sad thing about it, if you guys seen the game or just seen the play, it wasn't even a hard hit. That's the sad thing. Like literally, his helmet went into Hamlin's chest, and down goes Tua. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think he needs to retire? Third concussion.
You guys go ahead first.
Man. Go ahead.
You guys want me to do it first?
Go ahead, go ahead, start off, man.
You the guest.
All right. So third concussion. Right now he's the Miami Dolphins top starter right now, QB1. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be hard to replace him. Second string quarterback comes in. We'll see what happens there. There's a reason why second string quarterbacks are second string quarterbacks, right? It is Tua's third concussion. I think who knows? I think he needs to get back in there. I think he'll be fine. I mean, it's not really my call; it's the doctor's call. But it's a deal where if the Miami Dolphins are stuck in a situation, if they take him out for any type of games, they could have a downfall of the season again. And who wants to see that, right? So, but then again, you have to think about Tua's safety. So, concussion is a big thing right now in football. I mean, when I was playing, the big thing for us was spinal injury. Just keep your head up when you tackle. Don't lower your head. So, I don't know. Hopefully, NFL Players Association has a package laid out for him in case he gets hurt again, like really bad. But third concussion, I mean, that's no joke, right? I mean, what do you guys think?
For me, he needs to hang it up. He needs to hang it up. It's definitely, man. After that first concussion, you're just prone for concussions from here on out. Any little thing, like I stated, like that wasn't even a hard hit. You know what I mean? For him to go down like that, man, it's time to hang it up, man. It comes a point in a man's life, man. You only play football for so many years. You gotta start thinking about your family. You know what I mean? Honestly, I feel like, and I doubt it's going to happen because we all know when it comes to sports, they're greedy and they want all the money they can get, right? Sure. In saying that, I feel like they need to have like a concussion severance package or protocol. After 3 concussions, you got to go, man. Your health and you as a human being is more important than this field, more important than football. So I truly feel after the third concussion, man, give these players a severance package and let them go about their way, man, because this is bad. Yeah. As a fan, we want him back in there. We want him back in there. Miami's excited when he's in there, right? But at the same time, it's like, bro, this is sad. This is like just watching that hit. It wasn't a hard hit at all. Like his helmet literally went into Hamlin's chest and he went down. This is bad, man. I don't. He gotta hang it up.
Well, usually, Jay. I mean, usually. The biggest injuries don't happen with the hardest hits. Yeah. I mean, look at Bo Jackson. Look how his football career ended. I mean, the guy was chasing him down and he was literally tripped him up and it severed a nerve in his leg, So, I mean, it's just I don't think he'll leave. I think he will come back because, the passion, it probably is in him to really love the game. He loves the game of football. He's been doing it his whole life. So that could come into a factor. I mean, Tom Brady did that before he finally retired. I mean, Giselle tried to get him to retire for the longest time, and he was like, no, I can still play. So, but we'll see. We'll see. But you're right. I think the NFL Players Association needs to get him a severance package, something that protects him in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. What you think about it, Jax?
He's gonna live longer than he's gonna play football. That's all I got. If he keeps on doing this, another concussion, it could likely kill him. Because you never know. Because he's been hit so many times in the head, and I feel like if after that he needs to retire, and the Dolphins maybe give him like some coaching spot or something to help the team out. Because the fans love him in Miami, the team loves him, and I learned recently the reason why sometimes your brain actually moves a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I think the reason why his brain probably was a little up forward, and a small little tap can give you a concussion because your brain actually moves. So maybe that's why, because it was such a small hit, boom, concussion.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Cooper?
Well, so I this past week I did a little, studying, and I watched the a sports doctor that he does a lot of the YouTube things where he'll watch the week and all the major injury guys. He comes on and he talks about the injuries or whatever. So he talks about Tua's injury. The one thing I didn't know about concussions, I'm gonna say this first. What I did know about concussions is I do know that every concussion is not the same for everybody, right?
Mhm.
So I want to have that be put out there. So the reason why this is being blown up is because of the reaction after his concussion, right? So we seen a couple of college players a few weeks ago have concussions, and we didn't even know that they had the concussion, right? Silverman Craig in the North Dakota State had a concussion. We didn't even know until after the game. One of the UNLV players, I believe, last night, he had a concussion. Supposedly, he came right back in. I mean, I don't know if he had it or it was just symptoms or they just stopped the play. Also, Jalen Waddle, week 1, he had a concussion. So they say he came back in. I guess he passed concussion protocol. But those, what we know of, could be all first-time concussions, right? And like we've been saying, this is the third time for Tua that we know of. So what the doctor was saying is that when he went back and looked at Tua's history at Alabama, he showed some symptoms of concussions prior to. And of course, we're studying, we're getting to know this a little bit better, right? So the thing that I didn't know is the fact that when you get more concussions, you lose stabilization in your neck. I did not know that. So I forgot the term he used. It's some medical term, but it's something that runs into your brain to hold your brain in that place, right? And that's a part, and it attaches down to your neck, to your spinal cord, and all that good stuff. And that starts to loosen as your brain continues to shake, right? And from the looks of it, when he got hit, if you notice his head, like you said, Matt, we was always taught head up, right? So his head is down and goes to the side, and his neck is what really makes that motion. When that does that, your brain shakes. And then you have to think about the force, the trauma that's going to hit, because the brain hits the skull, which is what caused the concussion. So with that all being said, and when you go back and look at the fingers, the leg, if you really look at toward the end, his ankle goes into like a shock position. I don't know if y'all ever seen somebody that gets seizures and stuff like that, where their body tensions up. His ankle just like turns in a way like he has no control of his body. So it looks bad compared to other people. So I'll go back, I'll date myself like, man, I'm an 80s baby. Me and Jay, we're both 80s baby, grew up in the 90s.
There you go.
That we saw, right, with concussion problems, Steve Young.
Sure. Yeah, I remember.
But we didn't see Steve Young do that on the field. What we saw Steve Young do is get up and run to the Falcon sideline and like, hey, bro, what are you doing? Like,
you on the wrong sideline. Remember that?
Yeah. Right, yeah. Like, we're looking at him like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you running that way? At the time, we kids, we didn't understand. Now we understand the symptoms. But I think to me, we're trying to make the game safe. But what we're doing is we're taking out the padding in the pads. We're making these helmets lighter, right? And we're trying to use this new technology, which I don't know if y'all seen last year. I forgot. I think it was Tua, where his helmet or somebody's helmet cracked, like the front part of the helmet.
Oh,
Mahomes. I think it was
Mahomes' helmet cracked. That's the same helmet that Tua wears. So, they say it's the padding and all these things, man. I think that we just need to kind of take all the scientific stuff out of this, removing the padding and trying to get, look prettier and get back to the way that football was really meant to be played. And like one of the coaches I heard this past week say, a lot of this has to do with us not practicing the way that we used to practice in back in the day. The Tua days, because you build up that callus as you go, right?
Sure.
So one of the announcers or one of the guys also said, you got to think about it. In practice, when we was growing up, yeah, you didn't hit the quarterback, but if he started running in practice, you still gave him some kind of touch. You didn't just jump over him. And so you build that up in your mind that, oh, they're not going to touch me. They're not going to touch me. And you dive forward thinking, okay, he's not going to touch me. And then we have this issue. So
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna move on to the next subject. But at what point do we blame Tua for not sliding? Because he's known for that, number one. And then what was he? 3-4 yards past the first down marker? Slide.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the time, we all played football, man. You know how that is. You don't know if you passed that first down yet. You just trying to make a play. At the time, he was trying to bring his team back, man. I can't blame him for that. That Miami game, to me, falls on Mike McDaniels.
I should have started my Buffalo defense.
Tua is not put in that situation if Mike McDaniels calls better plays and puts Tua in a winning position.
I definitely agree. All right, check it. Congrats! Oh, before we get started, man, big shout out to my son Jax. All these subjects we about to touch on, he done did his research on all of this. So big shout out to you, son. I was too drunk last night to talk to you about it. We ended up going out last night with you 5-2. All right. Is the Michigan run officially over? I got excited when I said this. Start on this. Is the Michigan run officially over?
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Of course, that Texas beating from 31-13 last week would certainly think so, right? They lost Jim Harbaugh. You know, I've had people come up to me and say, what do you think is going on with Michigan? They were the national champs last year, and now they're just kind of, going through the motions. Number one, they lost Jim Harbaugh to the Los Angeles Chargers. Is that where he went?
Yeah.
So lost Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. And I think most of the players graduated, or I think some entered the transfer portal. So those are the top guys who went to other schools because Harbaugh wasn't there, right? So in a way, you kind of have to rebuild with the new coach and a new system, his system that he brings in and whatnot. And the Michigan players have to get used to it. The fans have to get used to it. I mean, Texas came in, and I expected that game to be closer, actually. I expected a 24-20 game or something like that. I didn't expect 23-3 at halftime or something, Texas. So, but then again, Texas has some very, very tough players. You know, Quinn Ewers is now up for the Heisman. He's a Heisman candidate now after that game. Heck, at one point, I thought Arch Manning was going to come in the fourth quarter or something. They were running up to score. So I think the biggest thing
surprisingly, they didn't throw him in there. That was surprising.
Yeah. I mean, I know Sarkisian at one point said he wanted to put him in there more. Now, of course, today they're playing UT San Antonio. So I'm sure Arch, if Quinn runs it up, I'm sure Arch will come in the second half like he did in the first week against Colorado State. But going back to Michigan real quick, they're in a rebuilding year. I don't know if I see them making the college football playoffs. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll get a little step in towards the second half of the season. But I don't see them making the college football playoffs. I know the college football playoffs is 12 teams now this year. So it's of course, now they're predicting, the odds makers in Vegas are predicting the SEC will have 4 out of those 12 teams in there. So who knows? But yeah, Michigan's going to have a rebuilding year. I don't think they're going to have a terrible year, but they're going to have a rebuilding year.
I'm going to keep it plain and simple. They done. They out of there.
You think so?
Everything you just said, Matt, I agree 100%. Michigan will be out of there. Like you said, it's a rebuilding years. The next few years will be rebuilding. Like you said, once Hallberg left, man, it's a lot of players went there for him. You know what I mean? So once you got a person like that leaves, you know what I mean? And then you mentioned the transfer portal. You know what I mean? And it sucks. I love Michigan. It's one of my favorite colleges, favorite football programs since I was a kid. So for me, it kind of sucks as a fan, but yeah, it won't be relevant for a few seasons.
I agree. I agree. Rebuilding, but I agree with you, Jay. I think it's going to take a few seasons. It's going to take a few years. Yeah, it's just I know my buddy is about to get married to a woman who went to Michigan, and she wasn't happy about it. So, but you know what I tell her? I said, you know what? You guys had the goat, in my opinion, Tom Brady at one point.
Yeah, right.
Hey, hey, man,
And it
let me
kind of
ask
it
you
kind of makes her a little bit more happier.
let me ask you a
She goes,
question real
Matt, that's
quick,
true.
Matt. Do do you think the sign stealing had anything to do with their success? Do you think that's kind of hindering them now as we move forward?
What was the first part of the question? I'm sorry.
The sign stealing. Do you think the sign stealing had any part to do with what their success or failure going forward?
Maybe. Who knows? I mean, psychology that could have messed with them a little bit, psych wise. But there's so much going on in college football right now. It's a big business. There's all sorts of stuff. As I told a friend of mine, it's like there's always going to be somebody who's going to try to maximize their chances, no matter if it's a front office. And I believe that's anywhere. That's not just in the world of sports. That's in any type of business. That's in relationships. Somebody's always going to try to maximize their chances to get what they want. It could have played in a factor, but who knows? I think the biggest factor it played in was that Jim Harbaugh left, and a lot of the good players either entered transfer portals or they committed to the NFL. They entered the draft. So
Yeah.
that's why I think. I mean, I'm going to use Texas A&M for an example, real quick. I mean, when Schloss left, which was shocking to everybody, the baseball team, 13 players entered the transfer portal, and then one guy said, I think Trev Albert, the athletic director, said, if you bring back early, I guarantee you'll get almost all of them back, if not all of them, and that's what they did. So, I mean, coaches have a big influence on these kids.
Yeah.
So,
And that's one of the things we talked on that a few weeks back about the transfer portal, and I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but we failed to realize we only talk about transfer portal in college football. That's also with volleyball, baseball. It's going around everywhere. So it's not just a singular thing to college football.
It's actually I'm
agree.
glad you mentioned it. I totally forget the team. It's just something that popped in my head real quick. I seen a few months ago. It's a big thing in college softball right now. One of the top softball players end up going to like one of the worst schools in college, but that NIL deal, you know what I mean? You making $1 million plus to go play somewhere. Why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jax, what's your thought on that, Jax, from Michigan?
I think it's almost there because they still have a lot. It's still a lot of season left, but they still have a good amount of opponents that they're gonna have to go up against. Then next few weeks, we're gonna see that it's gonna be over. They're moving forward into the off season. They're gonna need a lot of new players, especially a quarterback, because McCarthy was the good guy. Because their quarterback, both of their quarterbacks, well, yeah, like those two main ones that they have. They mostly had a bench for a few years or transfer from other schools.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the struggle because they're not used to that offense and also playing for like a way bigger school. So yeah, I think it's almost there. The next few weeks we're gonna find out.
Jimmie, man, as a coach, starting forward, moving forward as a coach, how do you start recruiting? What are your recruiting plans as a Michigan head coach?
Well, the first thing they have to do is sign him. From what I understand, he's not on a long-term deal. He's a one-year guy right now. So that's the number one thing. You have to get that stability. He has to sign a contract. Number two, you got to start finding players that fit your system, right? And you can't do what Jim Harbaugh did. That's one of the things that I learned being a coach is that yes, you could take things from other people that you learn from, but you can't think that you're going to be them. You can't think that you're going to be Bill Belichick, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, D'Amico Ryans. You can't be those guys. So you have to be yourself. And these young guys now, they see through that, right? Our generation is yes sir, no sir. I'll run through a brick wall because you told me to. But this generation is, I'm not gonna run through a wall. Why?
See ya.
Why?
Real shit though.
Oh,
Everything's
you gonna give me some
questioned.
money?
Yeah.
Right. You gonna give me some money to do that? Okay. Yeah, I'll show up then. For us, it wasn't like that. It was either do it or get your ass out of here.
Pretty much.
You know what, Jimmie? No, go ahead.
So to really answer your question, you gotta find your guys. Michigan, they shouldn't have they shouldn't have any trouble recruiting. It's Michigan, it's a blue blood. So they'll be able to get 5-star guys. The problem is getting the right people to Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I want to say before we move on to the next subject, man, you got players nowadays making more money than these coaches.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that's going to play a major part too. You know what I mean? And that's what, just think about it. 18 years old, when we think about back when we was 18, we got $3 million.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, I know me at that age, nobody can tell me shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So now you get into it with your coach. Are these players really gonna listen to their coach? I'm making $3-4 million a year, but you making $500,000. You know what I mean? That's another thing that comes into money too. You know what I mean?
NIL deals.
Yeah. So it's like they got their ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I'm definitely for it 100% though, for sure.
Like, Arch has what for Texas? He's making money. He's making a lot of money.
Big money. Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't even play.
Yeah. I mean, he's second string right now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other things that kind of the reason why I was for NIL, but I was against it, is because I played a great area, but it's because now we have these off-field coaches, right? Like we have these QB gurus that work at UPS during the day and then want to tell kids, hey, throw sidearm because Pat Mahomes does it. You have these receiver guys that's trying to teach route releases, and they don't even know how to sit down and explain to the kid when to use those route releases. You have offensive line people, gurus that sit up there at their Fortune 500 company and trying to get an offensive line kid, hey, man, you're supposed to take a kick step. Well, yeah, I know I'm supposed to do a kick step, but how do I do it? Can you teach me why do I do this? And they're sitting up here watching YouTube, and they're not getting the education to teach these kids. And so then these kids are going, oh, well, I spent with John $30,000 with John for the whole offseason, and then I come to Michigan, and I'm like, oh, my offensive line coach is telling me to do this, and no, you're wrong because my guy told me to do it this way. Mm-hmm. And I think that is becoming more and more a problem, especially with quarterback play, because everybody wants to be Patrick Mahomes, and I keep telling people, Patrick Mahomes is one of one.
You know who really want to be Patrick Mahomes? That quarterback from Wisconsin.
Nebraska. It's the 7-on-7 culture, man, and I'm not liking what I'm seeing. I thought football would stay away from that AAU like basketball field, and it's starting to creep in. And I'm not liking it. I'm really not liking how college football is being played right now. It's always been a left to right game anyway, but the quarterback play, you can tell, is really it's starting to dip down, and it's going to affect the NFL in a couple of years.
Sure.
All right, let's move on.
I got a question for you. Real quick. So to talk about this subject real quick before we move on, did you guys ever see that movie National Champions?
National champion.
Yeah, that's the one where
it's the college football player who won't play in the national championship game unless he gets money. Yeah. Go watch that movie. A lot of people don't know about that movie, but go watch that movie. I want to hear what you guys think about that.
What is it on?
It might be on any streaming service, Apple TV, Peacock, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's called National Champions, but it's about a college quarterback who's like the Heisman Trophy winner, but he doesn't play in the national championship game, and he's protesting it. and they don't know why. And you find out why later. He wants money, but there's another reason behind it. So go watch that movie.
I won't spoil it, but that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next we have, man, this is crazy right here. 106 miles per hour, Georgia football quarterback arrested for reckless driving 2 days before SEC opener. How does Daniel Harris' arrest affect Georgia in their SEC opener against Kentucky? Jax, I want you to start on that, Jax. You brought that up. I didn't hear about that. What do you think about that, Jax?
First of all, I don't know what's going on in Georgia. The guys are always getting arrested for something related with driving, DUI, speeding, or something. And this is one of the top guys. Like, it could affect them, but it may not. Kentucky it's a good team, but Georgia, like this, they go anywhere and they blow out almost every team out there. Mm-hmm. So this could affect them a little bit, but I don't think it'll affect them much because they're probably going to blow Kentucky out in Kentucky. So I don't think it'll affect them that much. And the thing is, the backup gets some more starting time. So, yeah.
Number one, why the hell are you driving 108 miles an hour? That's the first question. Like, I need more backstory on that because I have no clue. Wow. Go ahead.
They were saying the speed limit was over there was 65.
It was what? 55 over the speed limit?
Something like that. Yeah.
That's crazy. Here's the thing, man. Georgia has a great football team, but let's keep it real, man. Georgia's known for this. You know what I mean? Every year there's something going on, either during the season, off season. There's something going on with their players. So at the end of the day, the fact that this is an every season thing, this is an internal issue. Somebody up top, whether it's the coach or somebody behind the scenes, needs to put a stop to this. Needs more harsher punishments because every year Georgia always got something going on. You know what I mean? Like Jack said, we know they're gonna go out there, they're gonna be dogs, they're gonna blow out all these teams, and they're gonna win national championship. They're in the run for it every year, right? But there comes a time. You look at Florida back in the early 2000s with Tebow and all that. You know what I mean? That team was some dogs, but they also had internal problems. You know what I mean? You had Hernandez on that team. You know what I mean? There was some real live gangsters on that team, but you gotta know when to turn that off and when it's time for football. And if you running this organization, college, or whatever, you got to put your foot down. I don't care how good these players are. If this is your star player, you need to make an example out of it. Like I said, I don't know the backstory on what happened, but number one, you shouldn't be driving that fast. And the fact that, like I said, this is an every year thing with different players. Man, let's put an end to this, man. Come on, we have to.
Sure, I think number one, it's a college kid being a college kid too. He could have just gone out and just got partied it up and got really, really just plastered inside. Maybe he didn't realize he was going that fast because he was really plastered. Yeah, maybe he just maybe he broke up with his girl. I don't know, but yeah. I mean, if you're the star player of the team, all eyes are watching all the time. The press, everything like that. So you would hope. Even though it's a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid, it's you would hope that he has the common sense to think, I better not do this because I'm, the star player of the number one team in the nation. What do you, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but you never know. Kids need to cut loose. We all need to cut loose too. Now he shouldn't be driving that fast. That's true. And he did get caught and he did get arrested. Now, how will that affect the season? I don't know. Number one team in the nation. They're still a very tough football team. They have a good quarterback. It's they got top players on that team. So I don't think it will affect it too much. I don't think it will affect him too much. He'll go into the coach's office, the head coach, and be like, hey, dude, I was out partying, So I can't really – there's no excuse for my behavior, even though he'll probably yell at him and be like, well, listen, the coach needs to sit him down and be like, listen, you're one of the top guys on the team. You don't think we're the number one team in the nation. You don't think everybody's watching us under a microscope right now. So, yeah.
You know what, man? I like that, man. And what I'm about to say goes back to the comment I made earlier. at such a young age, you can't tell these kids nothing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Especially, I'm sure he's making some pretty good money too. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree with what you said though, for sure, definitely. What you think, Jimmie?
So this seems to be a trend. Is going back for since Kirby Smart's been there. I hate to put it on him like that because he's a good coach. But here's the thing that for the guys that haven't been in that type of environment, somewhere there's a disconnect between Kirby Smart and his assistant and GAs. Because there's no way a GA or my assistant should not be checking on these kids and making sure they're in the dormitory, in their apartment, wherever they stand at these times of nights. You know,
A day before the game.
I mean, a day before the game, right? I understand during the off season, it's probably easier for them to get around and maneuver, right? But during the season, this is unacceptable, man. And it's becoming a trend just with Georgia. Of course, we probably not seeing it or hearing it from the other schools. Like we're not going to hear North Dakota State have this issue if they had it because it's North Dakota State, right? Or Wyoming. They're not Georgia. They're not the number one team in the nation. They're not 3-time national champions in the last 5 years. We don't care about them. Mm-hmm. Not saying we don't disrespectfully. It's just the way that the optics look when you have a Georgia player doing these things, and it dates back from the Carter, and it dates back further than that with these kids. And I think Kirby Smart needs to, we need to sit down with the kids, but we also need to sit down with those coaches because as the head coach, you have to coach your coaches so that the coaches can understand what they are supposed to do. And there's some kind of disconnect, man. I don't know what it is. Some people, they're all about winning, and that's all they care about. And I get it. It's Georgia. Those boosters are going to get on your case if you don't win. Same thing goes at Michigan, Ohio State. But at some point in time, these kids' life have to matter, right? Because this is an NFL-type cornerback. You risking, I get it, $3 million, however much his NIL deal, $1 million. Well, he's a corner. He's probably only getting about $500,000-600,000. But that NIL deal money is nothing like that money he's going to get in the league. So we have to do something. And this would be my question to you, Matt. As a coach, we'll just say a high school coach, right? As a high school coach, is there a way that we can start helping these kids and kind of dumbing this stuff down to where they have it in a understanding of this before they get to that level?
Okay, so that's a great question. I'm gonna answer that. So me coaching for 14 years in Austin, right? I did a lot of youth sports. I did all ages. I did elementary all the way up to middle school. I did work with some high school kids and even some college players here and there. But going off your question right now, it's I always thought, and I mentioned this when I was coaching basketball, I always did a thing where I would take the kids aside for 5 minutes and talk about the history of basketball. Great players like Hakeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, because this new generation of kids don't know that, right? So I think you have, in order to be really good at something, you have to know what the past and the great players of the past went through. And going off that, I think it's I always wanted to do a class. If I was running a sports club, I always wanted to do a class where it was really talking about the psychology of sports. Here's how you deal with winning. Here's how you deal with losing. It's not the end of the world. Here's how you can get better. Here are the goals. And I talk about that in some of my books. Sorry, Jay, I want to throw it out there. An athlete's journey. And the light that shines upon the players and preparing athletes for the future. I talk about this in all my books, where it's a thing where how does an athlete feel emotionally? Could it affect him? Could something be at home affecting him or her that performs later the next day on the field or court? But yeah, I think coaches need to start doing that a lot more. It's not just about skill level and here's 4-step drop back pass, and that's about it. I mean, there's a big part of that. Don't get me wrong, but it's also about the mind and how can you deal with things and how do you deal with things on and off the field and stuff like that. I think we need to be coaches need to be putting more about that in there.
So do you think we should do that starting at what age? Middle school, high school?
I think middle school, really. Yeah, I think even younger. I think middle school. I think even 7-on-7 football, which I know a lot of parents are putting their kids in now, just to learn the basics of how to catch a pass and how to throw a football and stuff like that before they actually put on the pads and get hit. But on the flip side of that, they're going to have to Pop Warner leagues. These kids are going to have to know what it takes to be hit. You know what I mean? Because it's a violent sport. It's a violent game. But I think you have to know that going in.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted because we all have different minds and thought process of. So I wanted to hear what your take on that because that's something that we don't think about in everyday life when it comes down to how does this person handle these things as far as just winning and losing. Because sometimes when we think about these kids that are playing at the SEC level, I'm just talking about the upper echelon, right? The Big Ten, Ohio State. These guys don't lose too many games in high school, right?
Sure.
Like Kyler Murray, for instance. We don't know it mentally how that's affected him because he didn't lose in high school. He rarely lost it in college. And then he gets to the NFL and it's like he can't do anything, right?
Sure.
And then now the microscope is getting on him because now he's getting clauses in his contract because he plays the video game or he's not studying the playbook. And then you're getting that on ESPN. And so now what we're not thinking about is his friends are calling him like, you got one friend like, hey, man, get back on the game. And you got the other friend like, man, what the hell are you doing? Like,
right.
You finna blow everything. And that psychology, that mental of trying to balance everything is a big deal.
It's so important. I mean, it's like what you were going off saying. I mean, high school dominated, probably won a state title, or if they were in the private school league, won the SBC title or the TAPS title or whatever the league they were in. Mm-hmm. And then you get to college, you could be a big player there. You might even get a national title there. And then you get to pro, like what you were saying, and you find out very quickly that you're throwing to a receiver at one point was 4 yards open. Well, now he's only 1 yard open. It's a next level game, Mm-hmm. You find out that everybody, even the linemen, can run a 4 flat in a 40, mm-hmm. So it's because they move quickly. So you're right, though. How does that affect, the person mentally? That's why I think we should start them out young, have classes over the psychology of sports. I wouldn't even be opposed to this going to like schools, where there's an actual class called the psychology of sports for athletes, that just deals with all this. You may be big right now, but it's, there's somebody in another state that's going to, if you go to college or go to high school, there's going to be somebody in another state that's probably 10 times bigger that's just going to steamroll you. So,
No.
I learned that quickly.
Yeah.
Next subject, man, we are touching on. Let's see what we have here. It said, what does Coach Prime need to do for Colorado to win big games? Shit. I'm gonna start on this one. Not a damn thing. It's gonna take more than Coach Prime. It's gonna take a lot more than Coach Prime. Their O-line is horrible.
Terrible.
Horrible. Oh my goodness. And I told y'all last week that game was not about to be close. Just to let y'all know, I made that clear last week. That's like us going out there as coaches. No matter what we say, no matter what we do, no matter what we prepare all week, it's up to them players. Mm-hmm. And I could be wrong, but I truly believe these players, up to game day, the week of the game, whatever, their preparation, I'm going to say it's top notch. I don't know, but that's what I'm guessing, right? So it's saying that there's nothing Dion can do, man. This O-line is fucked up. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I got predicted the other week, four wins this season, if that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The schedule's a lot more tougher than it was last year, number one. And yeah, I don't, man. Yeah, nothing.
Well, it's his O line. Yeah, I mean, you definitely put the nail in the coffin there. It's his O line. It's if I was Coach Prime. Now listen, Coach Prime has done a lot of great things marketing wise for that school. He's brought in celebrities. Matthew McConaughey, big Texas guy. He even went down to Colorado and watched a game last season. He's brought in a bunch of celebrities. Marketing wise, he's brought in a bunch of money for the school. Winning wise, he's done average. So it's a thing where I do think it's his own line. I think he's got receivers. Shador is doing fine as quarterback. His son's doing fine as quarterback, but he he just needs to. If I would bring in his own line coach, like after the season or even midway through the season, if he keeps, and you're right, Jay, he has a tough schedule. If he keeps losing games, they're 1-1 right now. They got Baylor today, but it's a thing where if they do keep losing games, it's going to be like he should bring him in and be like, Bud, what are you doing? If you don't start showing improvement by the next game, you're gone, because the athletic director is now pressuring him. Okay, you brought in a bunch of money, but where's the wins?
Yeah.
So
I agree with everything you just said. One thing I don't agree with, though, I believe he done better than average on a win-loss scale, just because of let's look at when he first came. They won one game the year prior.
They won one game.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's what they won 3 last year, and it's like, yeah, that's not much, but it's a step in the right direction. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I wouldn't say he's average, because at the end of the day, he's still building. You know what I mean? He's rebuilding, rebranding the college. You know what I mean? So I would definitely say he's more than average, but it looks average because of 3 wins. 3 wins. You know what I mean?
Sure. I can agree with that. Yeah, it's a you're right. He's slowly building each year, but there's going to come a time if he wins, like next season, if he wins 4 wins, the athletic director is going to be like, "Come on, man."
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see.
What's up, Jax?
Yeah, the O line is really terrible there. It just sucks. The thing that really made me mad after the post game interview with Shador Sanders, he blamed the whole line. I get you win as a team and you lose as a team. That doesn't mean you can blame him. You can say at least, you could say nice at least. You could say, oh yeah, the O-line, missed some blocking assignments. They're gonna work on that this week in practice. He's like, no, they suck. That's the reason why I lost. We lost and all that. Like, he blamed it on them. There's so many other things. He did some things wrong. Everybody did something wrong. He blamed everything on them. That's what really made me mad the most. Like, your teammates, you're supposed to respect each other and not blame each other for everything you do. That's what really made me mad.
I'm glad Jack just said that, because this goes back to what we talked about earlier in the show, man. From a difference between us growing up playing ball and Jax's age playing ball. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it is the O-line's fault. And you sometimes, you don't want to dog them out like that, but at the same time, you got to show accountability. Your game, for a perfect example, last week, your O-line was fucking horrible. We had this conversation. You know what I mean? You did your thing, but it didn't come a time in football. Once you reach the high school stage, especially college, it's not about learning. You know what I mean? You learn in Pee-wee and in junior high. You know what I mean? I'm like, growing up, Jimmie, Matt, in high school back when we grew up, if you wasn't good, you did not touch that field.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's not like that no more. You know what I mean? There's no accountability anywhere. It's that O-line point blank period.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got many stories about that growing up. Yeah. Better get with the program or you're not going to see the field.
So I'm gonna eat my crow from last week, because I did say that I felt Colorado was gonna go in there and tear the house down and win a close game. So I'm gonna eat my crow there. Well, I agree, but I kind of disagree, and I don't want to play the middle part again with this situation. But I have to put 55% of the blame on the offensive coordinator. I have to put about 30-ish of that percent of the blame on Prime and the rest on the offensive line. And I'll tell you why. There's a few things when you go into a game, you have a 15-play script. You did your studying. As a coach, as a play caller, I call plays before at the high school level. When I sit down and watch film, if something told me that, okay, these guys love just going forward, they don't care about the previous game, they got gassed for a couple of runs against a lower tier team. I'm looking at this film and I'm saying, okay, they just want to get after the quarterback. My first thought process is I'm going to go to my offensive line coach and I'm saying, hey, start preparing these guys to go downhill and hitting somebody in the mouth, because we will not come out here in 10 personnel and throw the ball sideline to sideline. We're going to put 2 tight end sets in. We're going to put a fullback in, and we're going to hit them until we can see that they're going to stop us. And then we're going to let Travis Hunter and Jimmie Horn and Weber and Shador eat. Back to why I put pressure on Coach Prime. You're the head man, right? You are the stabilizer. You're the one with the gold jacket. You're the one that's the greatest defense. We can argue about who's the greatest quarterback. We can argue about who's the greatest offensive lineman. We can argue about who's the greatest running back. There's no argument on who is the greatest cornerback to ever touch the NFL field or college field, period. You're Coach Prime. Why are you not going into that line? Why are you not going to that sideline? You come every day and say, I want to run the football. I want to run the football. But then your first 10 look like this. There, as a head coach, if I tell you to do something and you don't do it, we're going to have problems. I understand we're grown men. I understand you my friend. But at the same time, that shit got to go out the window, brother. Because guess who's going to come under that fire? Guess who's going to get fired? You not. I'm going to be the one that get fired.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad you said that, Jimmie. I'm glad you said that, because this leads to my next question. At what point do you start blaming Prime? Like, say if they lose the rest of the games this season or have a really bad season and don't do too good next season, at what point do you blame Prime?
And that's kind of to the point that I was saying why I give Prime a percentage of that is because he brought in. So this is the thing that I've been telling people that I have an issue with Colorado right now. I get the fact that you want to have these gold jackets and these number 1 draft picks and these guys that played so many years. You know what they say, they got 300-something years of NFL experience on the staff. I get it. That's cool. But the one thing that you have to understand is that NFL field shrinks because of those hash marks. And defensive coordinators that come from the NFL, they struggle at the college level. They're not prepared for the sideline and the verticality that they have in college that you don't see every day in the NFL. You can squeeze the field down playing cover 4. You can keep the field deeper with cover 2, showing those 2 high safeties. You can force people to run the ball inside. You can force them to run. In college, you can't do that because I can get the hash mark on the right side and I can split 3 receivers all the way to the sideline. If I got a quarterback that can throw it over there, and now you have to lighten that box. You have to put 5 people in that box. And I'm going to say every time, all right, read, and I'm going to look at that linebacker. If he goes, I'm giving. If he don't, I'm throwing that slant. If you press Travis Hunter, I'm throwing it deep. But if you don't prepare yourself and you're not ready, if you're not ready for that, you're going to struggle. That goes to the same thing with Pat Shermer. Pat Shermer was a good offensive coordinator and a good coach in NFL. Why is he struggling in Colorado? Why is he struggling in college because they're not running the football. Get out of 10 personnel, get into some two by two sets, get in 22, and run the football downhill. You letting these guys tee off on Shedeur, and it's hurting his draft stock. You're thinking you're helping his draft stock, but you're hurting it because now you know what guys are gonna say. I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm passing on. What the draft people are gonna say after this, they're gonna say, can Shedeur come out of and do a 3-step drop under center? Can he turn his back and do play action? Can he read a defense after a play action? These are going to be the things that we're going to start hearing after this season because you stay in shotgun and you have a perfect field of vision the whole time. But once they're not, the offense is so bland. You're not seeing safeties and corners move. You're not seeing that the 2-high shell become 3. You're not seeing the corner rotate down, showing cover 4 and then going to 6. You're not seeing that wheel linebacker, instead of him going to the flat, run to the middle of the field and showing you a different look on the curl routes and on dagger routes. You're not seeing that because you can't run the football. They're just sitting back there with dropping 8 people, and they're letting 4 rushers dominate you the whole game because you want to stay in 10 personnel.
Facts.
Yep.
All right, on to the next subject we have here. Does Arizona really belong in the top what? What is that? Hold on,
This is a top 25 right there.
Top 25.
I don't know why it's cut out.
Nah, it's because I got the banner going on the bottom.
Right.
What do y'all think on that? Go ahead and start with that, Matt.
Well, you know, they lost 31-7 last week to Kansas State. Kansas State's number 14 team in the nation. Now, Arizona's number 20 now. So Arizona's 2-1. You know what? As I always say, even in basketball, you could be the number 1 team in the nation. You could be in the top 10. You could be in the top 20. Now that and that meant something at one time for college football. But now that we have college football playoffs, you could be the number 12 team in the nation and still win the national title. You know, now since we have 12 teams going into college football playoffs. Number 20, Arizona's not. I mean, they're not very good. They have some talent, but they're 2-1. It's they've already lost. Back in the day, you had to be undefeated to go to a national title game, or even the Sugar Bowl or the 4 top bowls. You know, Orange Bowl, exactly. Or the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. So it's just things have changed a little bit now with all this. Who knows? You know, it's I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a national championship team. I don't think they're a playoff team by any standards. I think they're like what we said before, like Michigan. They're in a rebuilding year. I think, So I mean, that's what I think. But who knows? You know, in the second half of the season, they could come up. They could make the college football playoffs. And who knows? They could run the table a little bit. However, do I think they're going to win the national title? No. Do I think they're going to have? I think they're going to have an average season. So that's why I think.
Do they deserve to be there? Hey, they're there. You know what I mean? So they're
there.
It.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Will they remain there? No, not at all.
No. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think they'll finish in the top 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That basically goes to what Matt says. I'm co-signing on that because like they're there, like you said, they lost early, but they're nothing special, and no disrespect to the team or any of the players, but they're not about to compete like that. So they're there, have fun. Why? You know, at the end of the day, a top 20 team in the nation, that's dope. You know what I mean? That's dope.
Yeah.
So, but it's not gonna last. Not at all.
Yeah, I mean the AP poll got you up there in the top 20, even though you lost to Kansas State 31-7. So and that's a big gap.
Yeah.
So
and
what you think, Jimmie?
Game.
Yeah.
I was down on this. Is kind of goes back to first episode of why I said I felt Colorado would make it into the college playoffs is because I didn't believe in the Big 12 as a conference whole is that good. Arizona, they have two talented players, the quarterback and the receiver. I can't say their names, but those two guys are really good. And if you go back and watch the team from last year, those are the only two guys that stayed. When their coach left to go to Washington, they lost a lot of the offensive line, the defensive line, the secondary. A lot of those guys went to Washington and Oregon, respectfully, and that hurt them, right? So, again, same thing. Arizona had I forgot how long the coach was there. I think he was there for like 5-6 years. So he established that culture there. He established what Arizona football was going to look like. And then when he leaves, just like Jim Harbaugh, now you're trying to reinvent yourself and your players left. So I think, like you say, it's dope that they're in there. I can't remember the last time we ever, when I was growing up, Arizona was a basketball school. I wouldn't dare go to play football over there. And, they was kind of like the PV of the Pac-12 back when we was young. They, it was 0-10 every year. So for the school to be in this area and, being noticed and having, potentially a second or third round type quarterback and a first round receiver, I mean, fans should still be showing up. Everybody should be happy that the school is doing what they're doing. And to answer the question, no, I don't think they'll be top 20 too much longer.
Yeah.
Who
does Arizona have today?
I know that the game they played was last night. That Kansas State game.
That wasn't last week. Okay, I thought they might have had a bye week. Okay,
it was last night.
You. Yeah, so they lost 31-7. So yeah, they're not going to be in the top 20 for too long.
Yeah, they definitely won't be in the top. Yeah, they lost Friday. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, they won't be in there.
What you think, Jax?
Yeah, watching that game last night because I was excited for it. It's two top 25 teams going at it on a Friday night, so I was expecting this to be a pretty good close game. Then I saw the score at halftime. It was 47-8. It's not a bad first half. It's only Kansas State's only up by 7. Then they started scoring again, and I'm like, does Arizona really belong here, the top 25? And that's why I typed that out last night. I'm thinking this will be a good topic to discuss on the show. They have a good quarterback. And the thing is, this is like the first ranked opponent, I want to say. You should have a good game against them. And you get blown out. You get blown out against the ranked opponent while you're ranked. So yeah, I don't think they're gonna be in there for that much longer unless they get it fixed and stuff.
All right, folks, we're a little bit over time, so we're gonna run these last 4 we have here. What you was about to say, Matt?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was going off Jax for a minute, and then we'll move on. It's kind of like USC. They were a second half team, and that's what that team, Kansas State, did to Arizona yesterday. They just blew it up in the second half. But as a coach one time said to me when I was younger, whoever wins the second half of the football game is most likely going to win the game. So,
yep.
Unless you're up hugely big, but
I agree. Yeah. Next topic we have, let's see, what is going on at Notre Dame?
The Fighting Irish.
Man, it's sad. Who wants to start on that? Jimmie, start with that one.
Oh man. Oh man, it was a good game, man. I actually believe it or not, I actually watched the game from start to finish. It wasn't on purpose either. It wasn't on purpose. I cut the game on, started cooking and preparing to cook, and the game just stayed on. And as the game went on, I was like, NIU has a chance. They really have a chance to win this game. So again, Notre Dame, it goes back to quarterback play, man. You have to have a quarterback. You have to. If you don't have quarterback play, you can have the offensive line, you can have the defensive line. You can't make stupid mistakes in crucial parts of the game. You have to take care of the ball. One of the things that we wasn't preaching in high school, but what I was preaching when I was coaching is I want to end every possession in the kick. Punt, field goal or extra point, right? And Notre Dame had 2 chances to end the game, and they refused to get to establish anything once they had that lead. Well, I think they was up by 3 or 4 points going into the third quarter. They had like an 8-play, 7-8 minute drive, and they only moved the ball to the 50-yard line. And then he decides to take this 40-yard bomb and throws it short, and they get an interception, right? Then the defense comes out and stops them. Now you have another chance to go down the field, and then on 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, you throw the ball in the dirt. Like quarterback play in college and NFL is at an all-time low right now, and these big schools are not really finding the right guy.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna sum this up fast and easy. Bring back Rudy Rudiger.
That's right. Daniel E. Rudy Rudiger.
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened, man. That's a game they shouldn't have lost. Like point blank, period. That's a game they shouldn't have lost. Didn't one of y'all predict that upset last week?
I think we all picked Notre. We all picked
them. All right. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with them, man. I don't want to say like throwing the towel with them because the game is still early in the season, but they need to get it together fast. You know what I mean? Yeah, because that's a game they shouldn't have lost, and that game shouldn't have even been close. You know what I mean? That's the team you blow out and get your bearings right and get ready for the next week.
Sure. It usually comes to you're like, and the fighting and the Irish faithful and whatnot. It's a thing where I do think it's a quarterback situation. Now, later on, if they lose today or against Purdue, or if they win today or whatnot, should the quarterback, the first string quarterback, maybe be second string? Is there a QB controversy? Excuse me. There's a little bit of that. Yeah, so I think it is a quarterback type thing. So we'll see. We'll see if the QB1 stays. And all right, Marcus Freeman goes in there and says, all right, we're going to put in the second string. Let's see what he does for a second. That is if they lose today. Now, if they win today, he's going to leave him in there, right? So, yeah. Jay, I just read on the site that
huh?
Oh, no,
hold on,
real
Jack.
quick.
What happened, Matt?
Sorry, Jax. I just read on this saying that Under Armour, it says right here, Under Armour is helping the Fighting Irish that you can dress like head coach Marcus Freeman. I was like, what? I was like, right now you need to win some football games here, buddy.
Yeah, for real. Jax, let me hear from you, son.
They just need to get together because you lost to NIU. That should have been an easy blowout win for y'all. And y'all paid them, I think, about almost $2 million just to blow them out. But you didn't, so you lost. And I don't know what's going on. And also the thing is, Notre Dame has been known for losing to small schools, especially being as a ranked team. I like Marcus Freeman. He's a good head coach, but he just needs to get his staff together, man. And his players. He needs to just get everybody together. So people were even saying that Purdue could pull off the upset today, which if Purdue ends up pulling off this upset, it's going to be a lot of, discussing and stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got next. Well, A&M survived their first road game.
Jax, this should be yours. You should start with this one first.
Yeah.
Were they playing?
Go ahead, Jax.
All right. So this is going to be a really good game. To get to Florida, it's our first road game in Gainesville. This is a very tough environment. And I was thinking about this throughout the week. Like, are we gonna? Because Miami, we saw them. They went over there in week 1, blew them out. But the thing is, that was an in-state game, so fans from Miami are gonna go all the way to Gainesville to watch it. So it was pretty even up with fans and stuff. So, you're not gonna see much fans day to day taking a drive or taking a plane all the way over there. And I think it's gonna be a tough battle.
Man, ain't nothing about to get whooped, bro. Let's just put it out there. They about to get whooped.
Man, I'm thinking, yeah, we could lose. We could win. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose. I wouldn't be surprised if we lose at all. I love my team, but I had to be real. I'm gonna be real with y'all. If we lose, I'm not gonna be surprised. It's Florida.
Nah, I think, man, it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not an A&M fan, but they definitely got that dog in them for sure. You know what I mean? So they not about to go down. You know what I mean, without a fight. I honestly see A&M winning by 10.
I see him winning by a touchdown. I think it'll be closer than what everybody thinks, but I can see him win by a touchdown. See them doing it. Do I think they're going to do it? I don't know. So that's going to be a hard game to call right there. They're both Florida is 1-1 too, right? I know A&M's 1-1. Florida's 1-1. So yeah, I think it's going to be hard. I have a question for you, Jax. What's going on with Connor Wigman? What's his injury status?
They're saying he was questionable. That's what they were saying yesterday morning. He was questionable, and they haven't really had any updates. So I think his thing is going to be a game time decision.
Okay. Do you think he'll play? Do you think he'll play?
Man, I don't even know, to be honest with you. I really don't know.
They gonna pull what the 49ers did an hour before the game.
But
it's a whole other subject.
But if he does and I'm not playing, I believe we still have some pretty good quarterbacks behind him, like Jalen Henderson, our senior quarterback, who came in last year when Connor Wigman got hurt. He had a pretty good second half season. To be honest, people think he was going to be QB1 for this season. Then you got the sophomore Marcel Reed. He's pretty good. He's really fast too. Really fast dude. I like his speed. He actually came in last year during the All-State Texas Bowl when Henderson got hurt, like in the first quarter, like the first play or two, and they were down like 24-0 at halftime. Then came all the way back, but they did lose. But they came back and lost like 24-31. Mm-hmm. Then you got the true freshman Miles O'Neill, who we got back in December, their National Signing Day. And I want to see him play, but if they decide to start him today, I don't think that's gonna be good. Freshman, first road game, you're the quarterback in Gainesville. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I think whoever starts is gonna do pretty good.
I like
Makes sense. Yeah. I think Connor's going to play.
Yeah,
I do think he's going to play. Did you hear about Max Johnson?
What happened to him? Oh, he got injured too. Yeah.
He broke his leg in the first. He was backup for A&M, and then he got transferred to North Carolina. Broke his leg like in the first game. So it's I know. That's what I said. But I do think Connor's going to play. I do think I do see A&M winning by a touchdown. But I wouldn't be surprised if Florida just wins by 2.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like Florida, they're having their issues over there themselves too. You know, and that's why I give A&M that 10-point win.
Yeah.
What you think, Coop?
Yeah, I'm with y'all. I think A&M. I think Florida is on the downside. They're starting a true freshman quarterback that has a high upside. And he will be playing at home, against a good Texas A&M defense. It's just the coaching part of it. I think it's hard to look at A&M and say that they can win this game or they are guaranteed they can win this game, because I thought Notre Dame was a little better than what they showed. And with Texas A&M keeping up with Notre Dame, I felt like, okay, well, Texas A&M showed that they're a good team and that they'll be in that middle of the pack of the SEC. But now it's looking like they might be at the bottom tier of that SEC, man. And unfortunately, Florida is at the bottom tier of the SEC as well. So it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. It's going to basically come down to who makes the most mistakes. And if Texas A&M, the way Texas A&M could win this game is the same way Miami won. Go in there, take the top off early, try to get that crowd out of the game as early as possible. Because if the game's close and it's the fourth quarter and you have these 18, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids trying to, remember these plays and the 100,000 swamp, and you know how that place gets, it's gonna get rough for A&M, and I wouldn't like their chances if that game is a 3-point game and they have to make 1 or 2 plays. But I'm with you guys. I think A&M wins by 3-4 points maybe.
Yeah.
All right. How long will NIU be ranked? Not long.
Yeah, not long at all.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. No matter, because they play Buffalo today. Win or lose, because no matter if you win or lose a game, there's always another team that's going to be better out there that wins and stuff and can get moved in top 25. That's the thing. You could be ranked. That doesn't mean you're going to be ranked. If you're ranked and you win, that doesn't mean you're going to continue to be ranked. Because it depends. You're also a smaller school, and this could be a bigger school that wins today and takes that spot away from them. And if they lose, that's going to hurt them a lot.
Man, I look at it like this. Like you said, it's a smaller school with a school like that and a team like that, man. When you're ranked, we all know it's not going to last, right? Yeah, so sure. I think more it's a great experience and a great feeling for the players. You know what I mean? Because when you start, when you play for a school like that, a small school like that, you're not going into the season thinking, we about to be ranked in the top 25. You know what I mean? So when it does happen, it's a great feeling. You know what I mean? So kudos to them. Enjoy the next few hours because I have to say y'all not about to be ranked. But definitely kudos to y'all, man, for real.
Yeah, and that coach, when he made that post-game interview, man, he was crying tears of joy because he coached there. He's coaching there right now. He went there. He was the running back there.
Guys, give me 1 minute. I'm still on the show.
What's it called? Sorry. He was running back there. He met his wife there and coaches there. And getting that win for that program, man, it's just a great experience for him. You can tell him that he was just crying. He was proud of his team. And they had this thing in the athletics facility. It's called the Boneyard. It's every upset win they had throughout the years, and they just added Notre Dame a few days ago on it.
Yeah, I think it was a good thing for the organization, for the school. Good thing for the coach. Like we say, he played there at Notre Dame. But as far as to answer the question, no, they won't be ranked after this week. It'll be a big school, that maybe like Wisconsin, if they win today, anybody that's not ranked, that's a Big 10, Pac-12, Big 12 team that wins today, they'll probably end up getting pushed out just based off of strength of schedule and who they play.
Sure. I agree. Yeah, it's I agree with what you said, Jay. I mean, it's a very much, if you're in a small school, you don't think you're going to be in the top 25. It's bragging rights, So it's, but they're not going to last long there, unless they just run the table and beat everybody 50-0. It'd be like, okay, maybe this team does have something, but I mean, a bigger school from SEC will knock them out of the way.
Yeah, no problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to end the show. We're gonna go with our prediction picks. Jackson picked 2 games for us. We have Washington State and Washington, and Oregon at Oregon State. 2 rivalry games coming early in the season. Who you got taking? Washington State over Washington or Oregon State over Oregon? Oregon's definitely gonna win that.
I think Oregon's gonna win. Yeah.
Man, at Washington State, regardless how good either one of those teams are, it's always a good game.
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna take Washington State, man.
Jay,
Man, it's gonna be tough.
Jax, you want to go first?
But you can go. My bad.
Oh yeah, I agree with Jay. I'm going to take Oregon, and then I'm going to take after Washington State what they did to my alma mater last week. I went to Texas Tech, so and Texas Tech is not very good this year. I mean, we won our first game, but we went into overtime on Abilene Christian. I was like, yeah, I don't think we're having a good team this year, but I might have to take Washington State. I might have to take Washington State on that one. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a good game, and I think Washington barely. I think Washington's going, but they're gonna barely take it. Like, probably like to a final down or something, man.
I'm gonna go with Washington State, and I'm gonna go with Oregon. But I think that Oregon game is probably going to be the one that we have to look out for as well. Oregon State, that crowd is underrated. It's an underrated school. It's an underrated place to play. That building will be rocking. Oregon has not played its best football. So this could be a game to watch when it comes down to that last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, because they haven't played. What they gave up a record of 400 and something yards to Boise State rushing last week. So, yeah, I mean they squeaked by beating the two teams that they should have blown out. So, I'm gonna still say they win because they had the most talent between the two teams and the better coach. But yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
I agree. Before we end this, anybody got anything else they want to add to it?
Is the new Pac-12? Is it? Do you have the thing downloaded on the thing, like the safety and camera, the new 4 teams they added? Or no?
You said what?
The Pac-12, they added the 4 teams. Because I sent it to you last night.
I know what you're talking about. I did an episode on this the other day on the Mathew Paris show. Yeah, the Pac-12, I think, added 4 teams. I think it was San Diego State, Boise State, and there were a few others there.
Colorado State and San Diego State.
San Diego State, that's right. Yeah.
July 1st, 2026 is when the conference becomes official.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which is, you know what, Jax, which is and Coop, this is I thought last season that the Pac-12 is going to be just dismembered. But now they are trying to save it. I think the conference commissioner is trying to save it. So it's that's good. I mean, I like that. I'm happy they're trying to save the Pac-12 because UCLA's gone, USC's gone. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To add that real quick, I also heard it was rumblings that Cal and Stanford might be coming back as well because because I think they said the AD from Stanford is worried about travel in school with the kids. So
sure.
I think it's either Stanford or Cal. One of the two teams have a schedule where they go to Rutgers and then come back, or maybe it's UCLA. But I know it's one of the West Coast teams. They go to Rutgers and then they come back to California, and then they go back to play Penn State or somebody back on the East Coast, and then they play another team on the East Coast the week after that. And when you're talking about school and travel and planes and price, because airplanes ain't cheap, that might be an issue for some of those teams like Stanford. They're not bringing in the type of money they used to, and Cal as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My last thing, though, Jay, real quick. My last thing, Coop, Jax. Of course, I have to throw this in there. I talked about it earlier. Don't forget to buy my books. Mathew Paris, Amazon, Honor Among Players, set in between the 1994 NBA Finals between the Rockets and the Knicks. That's on Amazon. All my books are on Amazon. So just An Athlete's Journey, preparing athletes for the future. The light that shines upon players. So I've done about.
Man, definitely send me them links so I could buy some, bro, for sure. Definitely.
Absolutely, Jay. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Definitely send me. Hell yeah. I'm definitely hell yeah.
Real quick, I know we probably got like 4 more minutes. Man, is there any big games that you're looking forward to as far as the NFL this week?
For the NFL?
Yes, sir.
You know what? Sunday Night Football, the Houston Texans versus the Chicago Bears, right?
I'm excited for that.
You know, as Carrie Underwood said, I've been waiting all day for Sunday night. You know.
Oh yeah.
Now I think that'll be a good game. We got Jordan Love versus C.J. Stroud. I think C.J. Stroud will do fine. Texans.
Hold on, is Love back? Is he good?
No. It's Caleb Williams.
Is it him?
Oh yeah, Love is for Green Bay. Yeah, Caleb Williams is for Chicago.
I got mixed up. I'm sorry. Sorry, I get those two mixed up. Yeah, Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams versus C.J. Stroud. I forget. You know, Caleb Williams is a rookie now. He's over at he's not at USC anymore. He's with Chicago. But it's going to be great. I think it's going to be. I think CJ's going to have a good game. The Texans actually have a running game now with Joe Mixon. So our running game is doing really good that I've discovered. We never really had that before. We've always done passes. So, of course, you could what was that guy? A good running back we had years ago.
Aaron Foster.
Who was it?
Aaron
Foster. Thank you. But the name was slipping a little bit. But yeah, he was pretty good. I mean, he was supposed to be our top running back at one point, but he, of course, and then years later, we became a passing team. But now with Joe Mixon, we have some good running backs now where CJ can hand off and be like, all right, I can do some handoff plays now. I don't have to drop back and start throwing it, which CJ can do well, as we discovered in his rookie season. But I can't wait for that one. Sunday Night Football. I've been waiting all day for Sunday night, you know.
And then you throw Diggs in the mix. Man, Texas looking good. Texas looking really good. For real.
Jay, Coop, Jax, did you hear what Diggs said not too long ago? The Houston Chronicle reported this, where Diggs was like, he came from Buffalo, so he was like, I tell you, man, when you miss a turn in Houston, he goes, it takes like 5 minutes just to go back around.
Oh yeah. That's been the running joke this past week. Everybody talking about, getting in the stadium and being ready and loud before the game starts. Historically speaking, a lot of people outside of Houston don't know why that is. It's because of traffic.
Sure.
610 is horrible. And trying to get to that stadium, you have 2 lanes. During the game, you only have 1 lane when you're trying to exit coming from where I'm from. And then coming from the west, coming east, you got 3 lanes to exit. Well, you got the 1 lane to exit, but you got 2 lanes to turn, and then they cut off the 1 lane going on Kirby.
And then construction.
And then construction. Yeah. And so it's a headache for the people that don't know. It's a headache trying to get in there. If you don't know Houston back streets, good luck getting to the game.
Yeah.
And in saying that, we're gonna go ahead and close. Man, it was dope having you, bro. Anytime you want to come back, bro, you're more than welcome. We would love to have you back on, for real. It was amazing having you on, bro. For real. Truly appreciate it.
It was an honor, my man.
I definitely would love to do a show with you about the sports psychology. Me and Jay, we talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna make that happen, Coop.
Yeah, definitely will. In saying that, this your boy Reckless Talk with the Reckless Talk Podcast, Reckless Talk Sports Podcast, Reckless Talk Management and Promotions, A1 Music Empire, 1836 Entertainment, HoustonCityBeat.com. We are the storytellers of Houston. In saying that, big shouts to our sponsors, Otto's Root Beer, the greatest root beer on earth, brewed in Huntsville, Texas by Brew Nation, old school family recipe from the 1950s. And also we have J-Rack Distribution and LLC and the greatest burgers on earth, Smash Wagon out of Beaumont, Texas. Congratulations, you guys. Smash Wagon. Yo, we're gonna make a fucking jingle for real. Greatest burgers on earth out of Beaumont, Texas, just opened up their very first restaurant. Congratulations to you guys. And of course, we have Hoodlum Nature Records. Man, we truly appreciate every single one of y'all. We've been live on YouTube, YouTube Music, and Facebook. We are out of here. Everybody go enjoy your day. Also, before we go, don't forget November 2nd, everyone pull up Pasadena, Texas for the fan appreciation tour, little flip that I will be emceeing. It's going to be dope. Buy tickets now. Big shout out to Yogi H-Town. We are out.